just wait and say, wait and say. Take a good look around, and if you're feeling down, put a little love in your heart. I hope when you decide, kindness will be your guide. Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you. Yeah, me. You just wait and say, here we go. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart for me. Yeah.
That was Put a Little Love in Your Heart from the new release from The Insiders. You can find out more about them at theinsiders.com. Our next article is My Take. I'm spiritual but not religious is a cop-out. This is from CNN by contributor Alan Miller. The increasingly common refrain that I'm spiritual but not religious represents some of the most retrogressive aspects of contemporary society. The spiritual but not religious quote-unquote movement, an inappropriate term as that would suggest some collective organizational aspect, highlights the implosion of belief that has struck at the heart of Western society. Spiritual but not religious people are especially prevalent in the younger population in the United States, although a recent study has argued that it is not so much that people have stopped believing in God, but rather have drifted from formal institutions. It seems that just being part of a religious institution is nowadays associated negatively with everything from the religious right to child abuse, back to the Crusades, and of course terrorism today. But those in the spiritual but not religious camp are peddling the notion that by being independent, by choosing an quote-unquote individual relationship to some concept of higher power, energy, oneness, or something or another, that they are in a deep, more profound relationship than the one that is coerced via a large institution like a church. That attitude fits with the message we are receiving more and more that feeling something somehow is more pure and perhaps more true than having to fit with the doctrines, practices, rules, and observations of a formal institution that are handed down to us. The trouble is that spiritual but not religious offers no positive exposition or understanding or explanation of a body of belief or set of principles of any kind. What is it, this spiritual identity as such? What is practiced? What is believed? The accusation is often leveled that such questions betray a rigidity of outlook, all a tad doctrinary and rather old-fashioned. But when the contemporary fashion is for an abundance of relativist truths, and what appears to be in the ascendancy is how one feels, and even government aims to have a happiness agenda, desperate to fill a gap at the heart of civic society, then being old-fashioned may not be such a terrible accusation. It is within the context of today's anti-big, anti-discipline, anti-challenging climate in combination with a therapeutic turn in which everything can be resolved through addressing my inner existential being, that the spiritual but not religious outlook has flourished. The boom in megachurches merely reflects this sidelining of serious religious study for networking, drop-in centers, and positive feelings. Those that identify themselves in our multicultural, hyphenated American world often go for a smorgasbord of pick and mix choices. A bit of yoga here, a Zen idea there, a quote from Taoism, and a Kabbalah class, a bit of Sufism, and maybe some feng shui, but not generally a reading and appreciation of the Kama Sutra or the Quran, let alone the Old or New Testament. So what, one may ask? Christianity has been interwoven and seminal in Western history and culture. As Harold Bloom pointed out in his book on the King James Bible, everything from visual arts to Bach and our canon of literature generally would not be possible without this enormously important work. Indeed, it was through the desire to know and read the Bible that reading became a reality for the masses, an entirely radical movement that had enormous consequences for humanity. Moreover, the spiritual but not religious reflect the me generation of self-obsessed, truth is whatever you feel it to be thinking, where big, historic, demanding institutions that have expectations about behavior, attitudes, and observance and rules are jettisoned, yet nothing positive is put in replacement. The idea of sin has always been accompanied by the sense of what one could do to improve oneself and impact the world. Yet the spiritual but not religious outlook sees the human as one that simply wants to experience nice things and feel better. There is little of transformation here and nothing that points to any kind of project that can inspire or transform us. At the heart of the spiritual but not religious attitude is an unwillingness to take a real position. Influenced by the contribution of modern science, there is a reluctance to advocate a literalist translation of the world. But these people will not abandon their affiliation to the sense that there is something out there, so they do not go along with a rationalist and materialistic explanation of the world in which humans are responsible to themselves and one another for their actions and for the future. Theirs is a world of fence-sitting, not knowingness, but not tryingness either. Take a stand, I say. Which one is it? A belief in God and Scripture, or a commitment to the Enlightenment ideal of human-based knowledge, reason, and action? Being spiritual but not religious avoids having to think too hard about having to decide. Very true. And like he mentioned, in this me generation, it's all about feeling. It's all about what I can get and what I want, without having to be accountable to a God, without having to look at our flaws, our sin, or without even needing redemption. It's a dangerous thing. And it's good to challenge these people on what do they actually believe. What does it mean to be spiritual but not religious? It sounds like a whole bunch of nonsense. May God help us.
Some days I'm feeling like I can't win, can't get it right. And don't matter how hard I try, today is not my day. When it feels like I'm going crazy and it looks like nothing's changing, come sun, come rainy day, you are still the same. In the dark, in the light, in the morning and night, in the good, in the hurt, in the places I hide. When I rise, when I fall, you'll be there through it all. At the start, at the end, in the center of the center of it. Some nights I lay awake and I can't push these thoughts away. I'm worried where I'm gonna go, where I'm gonna be. Are you gonna be there for me? When it feels like the doors are closing, gotta trust that you're doing something. Come sun, come rainy day, you are all I need. In the dark, in the light, in the morning and night, in the good, in the hurt, in the places I hide. When I rise, when I fall, you'll be there through it all. At the start, at the end, in the center of it. There will be days I will forget everything you've done for me. But when I go back there again, I'm reminded in the dark, in the light, in the morning.
All right, we're going to continue on with reason 4, that Obama is not a Christian.
I'm Reverend Don Hamer, on behalf of the Christian Anti-Defamation Commission, with reason number 4, why Barack Obama, who claims to be a Christian, is not a Christian by any biblical or historic standard. Appearing before a recent meeting of Planned Parenthood, the largest abortion provider in America, Obama proudly said, "I have consistently had a 100% pro-choice rating with Planned Parenthood and NARAL Pro-Choice America." Obama says, "The first thing I'd do as president is sign the Freedom of Choice Act. This would stop states from restricting abortions of any kind, even partial birth abortion." Throughout the history of the church, Christians have opposed abortion because they believe that life begins at conception. Abortion is an attack on the innocent human life of a baby who is made in the image of God. Obama recently said at a forum hosted by Pastor Rick Warren that to know when a baby ought to have human rights is above his pay grade, but he is very certain that a baby can be killed anytime, even after it is born. On 4 separate occasions, Obama has voted against bills that would prevent the killing of infants that are born alive, having survived an attempted abortion. Who are you going to follow, God and His Word, or Barack Obama? Please forward this video to your Christian family and friends so they can be equipped to defend our historic Christian faith from those who seek to defame it. Visit www.defendchristians.org to find all 7 reasons why Barack Obama is not a Christian.
Well, we're at the end of tonight's show. We will be back next week with part 2 of Obama's faith and more news stories. We thank you for joining us every Sunday. We appreciate your support. We appreciate your emails and for you joining us. Hello to everyone in the chat room at CYIWorldwide.com. It's always a pleasure having you also.
Oh, Bob, you are not going to believe this.
Believe what?
Well, according to this newspaper article, there's some guy out there who's got a $200 million lottery ticket. And if he doesn't turn it in today, he loses it all.
Oh, is that today? Bummer. I was going to mow the lawn.
What are you talking about?
Oh, this is the only chance I have this week to mow the lawn. I don't have time to go clear across town. I probably wouldn't make it in time anyway.
In time for what? Bob, do you have that ticket?
Yeah, I've been meaning to cash it in, but oh well.
Wait a minute. That ticket is worth $200 million. You need to turn it in.
Oh, they want you to fill out all these forms, and then you got to make all kinds of decisions. Do you want the money up front? Do you want annual payments? And then you don't get the money right away. You got to wait for who knows how long. Why bother?
Of course, this situation is ridiculous, but many people have the same attitude about something much more valuable: heaven. Are you putting off a decision you know you need to make?
Another message from Lifeline Productions, located on the web at lifelinepro.com.
I've always wanted a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor?
Hi, neighbor.
Mr. Rogers passed along friendship in his neighborhood, hoping we would do the same. So let's get started. Friendship. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at Values.com.
Thanks for listening tonight, and until next week, may God bless you. See you later.
Thanks for listening to Grok Radio. Be sure to check out our website at CYIWorldwide.com.